Hey there, Bruins fans! Welcome back to BNG Hockey, where it's always black and gold. Yesterday was the deadline for players to take their teams to salary arbitration. 40 players took them up on that offer, and the Boston Bruins have 2 of them. Now, for those of you who are a little bit confused about the process, I'm going to break it down really quickly for you. Basically, the player can decide to take their team to arbitration, but not all of them have the right to, like McAvoy and Carlo. So basically, the player says, I'm worth this much, and the team says he's worth this much, and the arbitrator helps them kind of meet in the middle. After that negotiation, the team has 48 hours to walk away from the player. They can sign the player to a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. That's the maximum. And if they like the number that the arbitrator says, then they'll sign the player either to 1 or 2. Or if they don't like the number that the arbitrator said, they can say, all right, good luck. And then he becomes a UFA. The first player I want to talk about is forward Danton Heinen. I'm sure you've heard a lot about the big 3 that the Bruins need to sign, McAvoy, Carlo, and Heinen. Well, this makes it a little bit easier for the Bruins to sign one of them. Heinen had an incredible first season. He had an incredible first goal, too, against the San Jose Sharks. I actually got to see that live in a game that he scored 2 goals, 2-1. He was playing really well and was one of the top rookies that season. He played 77 games, scored 16 goals, 31 assists for a total of 47 points. This year he played the same amount of games at 77, but only scored 11 goals, 23 assists for a total of 34 points. It's quite a bit of a drop-off for the player that a lot of Bruins fans were really excited about. Now, it could be that sophomore slump. It could be, I think, that he was juggled up and down in the lineup a lot. He was playing with Bergeron and Marchand. He was playing with Krejci and DeBrusk, with Coyle and Johansson, with Coyle and some random other kid who they called up when Johansson was injured. So that's kind of tough for a player, especially a guy who's still on the younger side. Heinen is only 24, and he just turned 24, I believe, yesterday. So that's a lot of movement in only your second full season, and so it's hard to produce those numbers when you're constantly moving like that. So I think that Heinen is probably basing his next number on that first season, and he probably wants something around $3 million. I'm sure the Bruins are saying, hey, let's look closer to this season, and you're probably closer to $2 million. Arbitrator might have a really easy job here. Just meet in the middle at 2.5. But I'm not sure that the Bruins even want to go that high with Danton Heinen. I think it would depend on the amount of years, either 1 or 2. They would probably go with the 1-year deal and then do this all over again, or they might just choose to let him walk and take the salary cap space that we desperately need. The next player is a guy who kind of gets forgotten about in the Bruins organization that I personally love. It's forward Peter Cehlarik. He's only 23 years old. He's a 6'2" left wing. He sounds like the perfect Bruin and exactly what this team needs, right? But he's basically been in and out of the NHL and the AHL his entire career with the Bruins. In 2016-17, he played 11 games, scored 0 goals, only had 2 assists. 17-18, he played 6 games, had a goal and an assist. In 18-19, he played 20 games, but only scored 4 goals and 2 assists. That's not horrible for a young player, but it's just really frustrating for Cehlarik to constantly be called up, sent down, called up, sent down. And he's only ever really up here if someone gets injured. I would love to see the Bruins give him a full shot next year out of training camp. There might be a spot open on the 3rd or 4th line. I think he's a player that has a little bit more skill, so he would probably be better on a 2nd or 3rd line. So maybe we'll see. But I think this is a great player for arbitration because the Bruins are like, we don't really know what you can do at the NHL level. And he's probably saying that, I think if you guys give me a chance, I can be this much. I have no idea what the cap would be. Right now, he's making a little less than $1 million, so I'm sure they would start at $1 million, probably, the Bruins would, and maybe Cehlarik wants a little more than $1 million. I'm not really sure, but I think that would probably be a 1-year deal and just try it out. Maybe he makes the roster, and if he does and plays well, then he'll get that pay grade, or if he doesn't, then he's probably one of those guys who starts to look at being an AHLer for life or getting traded to another team where he can get a fresh start. Overall, this is a good thing for the Bruins. The arbitrator helps them out so that they don't have to constantly haggle like they're already probably doing with McAvoy and Carlo. It takes a little bit of the stress off Don Sweeney, knowing that there's really nothing he can do. Whatever that number is, he can either accept it or he can walk away. So that really makes his job a lot easier. Arbitration is a good thing. That's all I got for you on this one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big like, and if you haven't already, subscribe.